let it go, let it go, let it go. I like that, y'all. I like that, y'all. I like that, y'all.
Hello, crypto friends. How are we doing out there? And welcome to the Crypto Happy Hour. Today is March 2nd, Tuesday. And as you can see, we're about to go red to green. Excuse me. Welcome to the show. And we will, as you know, we're going to go over tonight's watch list. And these are the coins that we're going to be looking for that's either we've been trading previously or in a trade or considering a trade. So, and as we move forward, I should say, this is not financial advice, none of those kind of things. This is some dude on the internet trying to show you how to do technical analysis and make your own decisions for your financial health and wealth. Welcome to the show, everyone. If you're out there, say hello. Don't be too shy to say hi. You can put something in the chat there if you want me to cover some or chart some coins. So let's jump right in. We're gonna first look at BTCUSD, as we will find that guy right here. BTCUSD. Gonna jump out to the 4-hour time frame here on this guy. As you can see, and as you know, if you've been following this channel, I do hold BTC for the long term, so major portion of my portfolio is not traded, but there was a trade that we took, as you can see down into this green area here. That was the buy zone, and as we moved up to the 50,000 area, we encountered the 100-day moving average. That would have been your sell signal. So we did take some profit right there on this particular trade, but we're still in it. And as you can see, this entry one label was one of the first entries on the way down. We kind of took this one a little bit early just to demonstrate that. Just go back in the videos and rewind those things. And then, so now we're looking at support at 47,151.73 USD, and still have that resistance level at 49,849.47. As you can see, we're trying to get above that 100-day moving average to get into our complete exit, but do as you please. What we're anticipating is a continuation. We're just going to bounce around in this consolidation zone, move sideways for a while until we get some bullish, some more. We're going to look for indicators to give us a bullish signal to the upside or bear signal to the downside, which we would exit the trade. As you can see, the second entry way down here was more profitable, so we're still hanging on to a little bit of that before we get out of here. Okay, moving on to DOT, Polkadot. We need to go to the 1-hour time frame, and you can see as I should remind you that we're using the Fibonacci retracement to set these buy and sell zones. And if you're new to the channel or just joining us, you can go back, go to the channel, look for the Saturday and Sunday conversations or videos that we did, and then you'll see. I'll try to put a card in if you're watching a recorded version of this, I'll put a card up there you can click on and get more detail. But so basically what we're using, and we're using the Fibonacci retracement we're trying to, on the front side, we're trying to determine when it goes up, where it's going to fall. And then secondary is the inverse of that, is once it does fall, where's it going up, which gives us our sell signal. So this particular one, we're almost there. As you can see, we have continuation of these bullish candles. But the only concern here is we do have descending lesser volume going into the move. So we may want to exit out of here. We'll just keep an eye on it. We do have the, you have to excuse me, my mousing finger has a Band-Aid on it, so that kind of keeps me limited. So there's a 100-day moving average still beneath us, the 1226 right here converging. So there is some good potential for upside move or continuation. We'll just keep an eye on DOTUSD. Let's go ahead and get you some support and resistance levels. We're going to have to zoom into the 30-minute time frame to get you that. As you can see, on the climb up, we're encountering all this resistance here. Let's even go into the 15-minute. Excuse me one sec. There we go. Yeah, so very steady, consistent. Let's see. So we're going to look for the resistance at 36.52 and looking down at support at the 36.02. And you can see we're getting really good solid support on the 100-day moving average. 12-day is heading up to meet it, and we did get the 1226. So we are seeing some indication of upside potential. Give me 1 second, please. If you're out there, don't be too shy to say hi. Type something in the chat. I can see folks out there. And thank you for stopping by, and hoping you stick with me. This won't take long. We'll just go through a few more. Moving on to BNBUSD, Binance coin. This particular one we've been keeping an eye on for some time. And I'm going to switch to the 4-hour. Excuse me while I dial that in there for you. So as you can see, we bounced down here at the 194.07. We had our entry point for this particular trade, continuation all the way up, and we were looking for this target up here. And like I said, you'll have to go back and look at some of the previous videos where we use the Fibonacci retracement and to set these levels. And as you can see, they're pretty accurate. They work pretty well. But like all indicators, they don't give you indicative or positive buy or sell signals. So we have to use other things or other indicators and analysis to support our decisions. So we got up in there. That would have been your exit once we hit into the sell. But for me particularly, I'm not interested in exiting out of BNB because I think with the Coinbase IPO coming up, that this particular coin is going to have some fundamental news that's going to carry it forward. So the position I'm in on this particular trade is I'm okay. I'm okay. Actually, I'll even take it down just below the buy zone if necessary. But that's my own personal opinion. This is not financial advice. You know the drill. I'm just some redneck dude on the internet. So keep that in mind. But we did have good support here. I have labeled at the 226.79. And you have all this resistance, just kind of banging up right up here at the 257.31. And it looks pretty healthy at this point. RSI is in dead center. The only thing is the volume's kind of falling off and doing. We did have a weekday today in the financial or the stock market, so that always has some impact, and you have to consider that. I mean, that always is going to have some impact on crypto. So keep that in mind. Let's move on to IOTA, another one on our watch list. And this particular one has not been in a trading zone. It's just been bouncing around. You can see from the 1.11, I should say, to 1.26. This is some consolidation. So we're waiting on, we have the 100-day moving average up top. The 12 did cross the 26 back here, but as you can see, normally we would see some kind of upward movement or increasing price, but no, that didn't happen. So we're going to just keep an eye on that one. It has been a good performer in the past. As you can see, we did set a tremendous amount of support down here at the $1 range, psychological. So we're just keeping our eye on this guy, right? So that's all we're doing. Moving on to ADA, Cardano. This particular one as well, we had the hard fork last night at almost around midnight. So we didn't anticipate any kind of major swings, but Cardano, if you don't know, is a competitor to Ethereum. And if you want to go on there, and you can read all about it, as you've probably seen before, but yeah, they do have a good use case, so we're keeping an eye on that guy and see how that materialized, because it did move into their third ranking as far as market cap. So it's moved up quite considerably. It's getting a lot of attention. And also consider that, the developers and the team that's working on Cardano are active, and they are working hard to, continue the development of that particular coin. So keep an eye on ADAUSD. Moving on to Link. Once again, we're not in a trading zone at this moment. So we're kind of watching this guy. We are underneath the 100-day moving average. So what we're trying to do is we want to scout a close above the 100-day. Once we get above there, as we talked about, we did introduce these pivot, the higher low, higher high points that we have. I can show you on here on TradingView. Pivots HL55 is the indicator, and we're using that to mark price changes, right? So the pivotal points, and there's an algorithm in there that you can go read all about that. And let me just see. I'll just type that in there and give you I think I can do this. Let's see. If you're in the chat, maybe we can get Nightbot to explain that for you. I'm trying to keep it brief and fast and simple. Continuing on to Ethereum, ETHUSD. Ethereum, as you can see, we are in active trade on this one. I don't normally hold Ethereum, and there's no really big reason why, but that's my own personal opinion. A lot of people, Ethereum has an enormous following, and so that's your own decision. But you did see that we had a trading opportunity emerge. Was this about a week back that we started to put this on the watch list? We got into there, we used our Fibonacci retracement. We did not make it up to the sell zone that we had targeted. So if you had bought in this buy-in range here, you're still positive on the trade. And as you can see, you've got some wiggle room. So this would be a swing trade, and you would be watching. Basically what's going to happen normally is we did not go up to test the ultimate high here or get into the sell zone, but you ricocheted off the 0.236 Fibonacci and managed to get below the 0.382 and the 0.50, which is not a Fibonacci number, but significant in the trading world. Bounced below that, and then we started to lay down some support. So there's a good chance that we could bounce to the upside and make our way back up to the sell zone, but we did create a higher high. So what we would do normally, if we're mapping this out, and this is only, so you'd bring this guy down to that higher high. We'll match the inverse up to there. We'll zoom in. I'm sorry because it's difficult for me with the gimpy finger and the Band-Aid on it. So we're looking over to the right here to get in between that 0.786, 0.678 is now our sell zone. So as you can see, our anticipation now is we're not going to get above this fib over here. So we are just about, did we close in there? It's 1800. Yeah, it was 6 o'clock. So we did close into the sell zone. If you're very ambitious, you could hang on to that and see if you can get a little bit more out of that trade if you came in down here. But like I said, we have to adjust that, the new buy zone. So as you can see, we're trying to accommodate these pivots in price. So now we have a whole new range to look for. And we would, if we were in this trade and wanted to stick it out, we're going to watch the RSI. We're looking at volume. Volume's just underneath, it closed underneath the average. So we have descending volume. So if it were me, I would probably exit, take some profit, and leave a little on the table just in case we can get some momentum and get up into the top range of our sell zone. Okay? Moving on to Stellar XLM. There you are, Stellar. As you can see, never made it up to the sell range. And Stellar kind of went into this consolidation pattern on the 4 hour. But I wanted to show you though, some folks, if they're really ambitious, you know, we're talking about 10% difference here. So if you wanted to zoom into the 30-minute and map all these out, just like we did on the 4 hour, what have you, you know, there's some trades in there. I mean, but it will require a bigger or larger, you're gonna have to risk more. You know, your trade size is gonna have to be larger for it to make it worthwhile. But I did want to mention that because some folks were sending me messages. Well, you know, why you know, you're waiting out for the 35 and the 40%. No, but you can trade intraday or, you know, a few days or so. That's fine. But the amount at risk you do have to increase to make it worth your while, right? Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, give me a comment in the comment section or in the chat. I still see you out there. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. We're going to move on to NUUSD. As you can see, if you went through this trade with us, you would see that we got into the buy zone, and then we made it all the way into the sell zone. And the reason why we use this region, and I'm going to have to scroll over to the right, as if I can do that with my gimpy finger. There we go. So this Fibonacci is inverse of this Fibonacci. So as you can see, we have the 1 down here, which represents 100%, 0%, 1%, or 100%, 0% here. But the significant part of this is once you get up here now, once we've made our retracement, it's relative to what the sell price is going to be. So usually, as you can see, 1, 2, 3 attempts to get above this point, the magic number that I keep saying, 0.886, is always significant. It's so funny how that happens, but not 1,000% or 100%, what have you. There's no such thing, but pretty darn it happens a lot. Right? So that's why we want to sell in this range, because yes, it will go past. Like you see here, this candle, the wick got all the way up to the very top of this Fibonacci and then pull back. So if you're magical and amazing and the best trader in the world, you can nail these tops, but I'm not. I'm going to take profit once we breach the sell zone somewhere in here, and then I'm going to look to some of the other indicators, like you would look to the volume, where the RSI is, things like that. And that's going to help you make the decision when to sell. And then your trading plan, and we'll start to talk about that a little bit coming soon. We'll talk about a trading plan. So once you get up there, do I just leave it on the table and just let it ride and go on the top? Well, it depends. So a good strategy is to take some off the table, at least make the trade free, and then let the free money ride. But you want to look at your indicators down here, the other stuff that's giving you information that would lead you to think that it may go beyond the normal trading zone. But most of the time, you're going to get a rejection. You're going to pull back. As you can see, here's a 0.50. Just came down below that, and then now it bounced back up. So in this range here, the point, what is that guy? I think it's 0.38 to 0.50. And then you actually draw a range right in there if you want to see where the bounce or the kind of intermediate range is. Okay. Moving on to NMR. Another one that is, to me, is in like a consolidation phase. You can see it's bouncing around this 100-day moving average and just glued to it. So it's glued above it, it's glued to the below it. And like I said before, if we put a measurement on that, there's a trading range in there. So that's like 10.39%. And so there are folks that can make a shit ton of money, which is a very technical term that means a lot in that range. But it does take a significant amount of capital to do that. So your risks are higher, and then we'll talk about that later on, how you manage risk and measure it, and how much would be significant enough to make that trade. But to me, this is just sideways consolidation, and you can look all the way back. I mean, it's been where we've been all the way to February 26th to today is March 2nd, bouncing around in that range. So we would actually want to look for a little bit more significant movement there, right? That is NMR, and I have your support levels. and resistance already drawn for you. So support is 39.08 and resistance at 43.118. Moving on to Litecoin. All right, so this one I need to explain a little bit because this is one particular trade that I didn't totally ignore the technicals, but I was looking more to the fundamental side. So basically, I explained, I think it was last night on the watch list, that there's a lot of buzz and hype and talk about the digital currency. So to me, the most eligible candidate for that is Litecoin because it's fast, the fees are low. It was designed. Charlie Lee designed it for all that kind of stuff. So it is the most nimble and spendable coin, if you will. It's like a dollar bill, right? So if you ran around spending a brick of gold like Bitcoin, yeah, you can do that, but it makes more sense to just carry around a dollar bill and you can exchange that back and forth. And that's kind of the way Litecoin was designed with the Lightning Network and the low fees. So I did not at this point have, when I got into this trade, I had no exposure to Litecoin. And so I decided that, well, the first implication, or the first indication, I should say, is that when we get a signal for Litecoin, I'm going to jump in there, right? So as you can see, I was late to the game. We jumped way down into this region here. And you can see I have the buy zone set off the fib. And then I was late to the party. Ideally, you would have bought down here between the 160 and the 164. I bought it at the 165, which I'm still sitting pretty. And I'm okay with it. In fact, if it even goes below that, I'm fine because this is a trading account, so I'm not concerned about it. But that was my initial entry into Litecoin. And now, where are we? So basically, we have support. You have a double bottom, double 1 and 2, and you could almost argue that, I don't know if we zoomed in. Let's go into the 1 hour for some clarity here. Look at this perfect bounce off the 100-day moving average. So we have the 100-day moving average underneath us. We have the bodies of these two candles if we wanted to give it a next level of support. Look at there. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. The wick of that candle. So we got, 5 levels of support there. Continuing up, let's go ahead and check. We have the body of this big red candle. The top of this red candle, which as we know, resistance becomes support. Right in the neighborhood of this guy to the next door there. So let's keep moving. Let's zoom on in. 30-minute time frame. We have double bottom on the body of that candle there. As you can see, we're starting to inch our way up. We're looking for support should the price start to drop, right? So we could come on up and be a little skittish about this doji here. That could be a iffy, but we have the doji, we have the wick of this candle here. We probably could go into the 15-minute. We're still looking for support, and you can see now we found it right here. So wick, body. So there's our support level at 178.29. That was a lot of work, but we're trying to find, look at this cup and handle here about to form on Litecoin, and forgive me, I'm being biased on it because I'm thinking it's going to do well. But so we have a cup and handle. So what you want to see is for this thing to come up, wiggle around, and break above. So let's put our resistance we're going to encounter coming up. First level we got through. And now this little candle over here will be our first levels. This is 181.06. Good solid support. Very, we have a lot of steps down. Look at the 12-day coming at about to cross the 100-day moving average. 12 did cross the 26, so the 26 trending up. Two things we need to watch is the volume is okay. It's above average, but we are getting up to the overbought area, which is the 0.70 on your RSI, right? Keep an eye on that. Fingers crossed with LTC, USD, Litecoin. As you know, hope is not a trading strategy, nor will fingers crossed help it get that way. Okay, moving on to comp USD. We haven't been in a trade on this one. This thing has been, if we go, you'll see here, we go here to the four-hour time frame. Straight up rocket ship. So it's pretty much, if you wanted to be aggressive, you could have scaled in on your way up for this guy, and we did hit a top up here where, in fact, we could say right this region here at the 508.38, folks started to sell, take profit. And just remember, these folks were buying all the way up. So if you buy it up here, where's your profit at? Right? That's why we're in a no trade zone. So we're going to scout this guy out. We're watching comp USD. It's on the watch list. But what we're looking for is a pullback, and hopefully it will pull back to the 100-day moving average, and or give us some other indication, and that is comp USD. BAT, basic attention coin, USD. We've been watching this because of the recent announcement for the Brave browser. I'll shoot you over there. Well, I just kind of, there we go. This Brave browser. Very lightweight, fast, furious, designed by the Mozilla Firefox folks. And the cool thing about Brave browser is that you can earn Brave rewards when you encounter ads. So the whole system is set up to, like, okay, if I'm going to get spammed to death with ads, then compensate me for it, and I'll watch them all day, right? So I'll earn the BAT token for Brave. There you go. Sign up. You get an Ethereum wallet. It's real easy to do. Took me about 15 minutes years back. And I'm not sure. I don't think I'm at the recent version yet, but getting close. BATUSD. Double bottom here at the 0.5612. And resistance up here at the 0.6247. Not in an active trade. We need to see some kind of pullback down to the 100-day so we can start setting our fib retracement levels. Okay, I'm looking at the chat. If you're out there, type your tokens or coins or what have you in the chat. Happy to chart those for you. This is the Crypto Happy Hour. Glad to be here. Moving on to GRT USD. This particular one I got free on Coinbase. If you'll watch the weekend videos, shows you how to go on there, take a tutorial, takes about 8 minutes, and you get some free GRT. So let's track this trade. I wanted to leave this on here. We're out of this trade to be, just want to be straightforward. We didn't ride it all the way up and make a fortune. So anyway, this was the same technique that we used, the fib retracement back here on. We can actually push this back on that pivot for the 1.869. So we're watching that thing. We got down into the, so what you're watching on the downside is once it gets below here, it usually will break through, right? So it did pass through, got down to buy zone, bought it here. We had some really good indicators on the way up. We had increasing volume. As you see, the volume came up. We had the 12. We couldn't tell that, but it was trending in that direction. So we're watching those curls going up. Got into the sell zone and sold, right? So no, we did not make it all the way up to the top. And that's, folks, you need to get used to that not ever happening. It can happen, but if you try to create a trading strategy for that kind of target, it's going to be a failure every time. So basically what you want to do, sell into strength. And if you are ambitious, at least as you're coming up and you get to the your particular target, at least take enough off the table that you can make the trade for free, and then you can let it ride. And then as you can see, it went up, topped out, which would have been there, yeah, and then retrace back to our level. Look at that, right on it, and bounce, because that resistance became support, bounced up, ran into the 100-day moving average, and then retreated back to the 26-day moving average. This trade is pretty much over until we can now, this is GRT USD. So we're looking to start to base here at this 26-day moving average. We have a almost, yep, we almost could put our support right there. Double bottom on the wicks, good size volume candles, so we can consider that good support. But we know that we're going to have resistance coming up through there and there. So there's our resistance. So basically, we're looking to set a higher high so we can adjust our Fibonacci's. Just wanted to show you that. So that would be your entry here. Doesn't matter. You don't have to be at the very bottom. In fact, you would have probably entered. Let's zoom in, and we can give some clarity on that because I want to show you this. So we came down through the buy zone. So of course you don't want to go in here. You're too early because it could have continuation to the downside. We're looking at, now we're starting to see in these candles here increasing volume. There's your higher low. We got above that higher low, so there would be your entry right in that area, and then that would be your exit up there. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Let's move on. Where are we at? We are in GRT. Let's move into the DeFi tokens. I've set up a new favorite list for those guys. There we go. Stan's picks. There we go. Do a quick sort. So basically we're going to track MKR USD. as you can see, we have a really nice cupped handle forming on that guy. So there's our higher high. We're scouting the higher low. So we want this guy to come up. We have the 1226 inverted and the 100-day moving average. So this one's going to be high on our list here, and I'll put together an entry plan for you guys if you'll stick with me tomorrow coming up. Moving on to AAVE USD. This one's kind of been in the no trade zone. It's been, if we go out to the 4 hour, you can see it's pretty difficult to trade up here on the top. We are coming up to the 100-day moving average. So we're going to sit there, and as my yippy finger starts to bang around there. There we go. So looking at support to hold at the 376.615. Got to get through resistance if we can get through this 100-day moving average at 404.506. Once we get through there, folks, we are going to send that dude on the top of our list because we're going to watch it for continuation. And we could even, for the folks that like to do these things, draw a trend line. Let's see if we can get one on there. Like I said, gimpy finger. Slight overshot there. But we can see, in fact, let's put a channel on that one for you guys if you haven't done this. Here we go. I think it's a regression trend, maybe, I don't know. Here we go. Sorry about this. Like I said, yeah, sorry. Tough to draw when you got a Band-Aid on your finger and you're working on a trackpad. Anyway, there we go. Pretty close. We can massage that just a little maybe. With the idea of showing you some of the other tools. Yeah. Not having much luck with that. Sorry about that. Anyway, as you can see though, we would try to get these wicks, the bottom wicks, and we're looking for this upward trend heading forward. Quick check in the chat. See if anybody's out there. We're almost done. Yeah, we did we had one more from this morning. SUSHI USD. The gentleman typed SUSI. I think he meant sushi. And I can see why, because this one's been really, really strong. And we're on the 4 hour time frame. As you can see, there was your resistance, there was your support, broke support, came down. You are in a good configuration. You have the 12 to 2600-day moving average. And we got to do a trend line on that one. In fact, we would just go back to the 1 hour just to make sure. Yeah. As you can see, we came up, met resistance, pulled back. Yeah, the 1226 cross sent you down, and I would expect us to go down to the 100-day moving average. We'll put that little trend line there to see if it can hold, because it is doing some good stuff for us. watch the 100-day. And that's all for me tonight, folks. And if you're out there, I see some folks out there. That's fine if you're shy. Not a problem. Just be sure and hit the like button, subscribe, do all those kind of things. And I will see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. CST. Good night. Have a great day. Thank you.